Welcome to another episode of One Cardinal, One Cub, and One Beer, where we are still doing spring training.
Yes.
Yes. Spring training. Is it technically spring yet?
No, it's March 20th, maybe?
I
Yeah,
don't think
but
winter training.
I don't know. Well, they're down there in the nice palm trees and cactuses and green and a desert. It's just a lot like New York. Well, they had 2 foot of snow down there in Florida and Arizona. Pretty nice, a little windy. They're spoiled when they say, "Oh, it's a little windy today." Yeah,
Well, I'll tell you, it got up to 50 today, but it never felt 50 because the wind was cold. I'm like,
freezing, go right through you. Yeah, all the flags are flying and snapping around with all that wind.
oh, yeah. Oh, those of you who are watching us on our YouTube channel, the hottest YouTube channel that I produce, um, those of you who are watching on the YouTube channel, please make sure that you subscribe to our channel. It helps the algorithm, and it also enables you to get our information as soon as we post it. Very good. Hey, I posted something on the Facebook page today. Go see it. It's really cool. JJ even liked it. So we are on Facebook. We are One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer on Facebook. Go there and like us on Facebook and look at the cool thing I posted. I get on here the last few weeks. We really don't do much with Facebook. So I thought, by golly, I'm going to take 10 minutes out of my day and I'm going to post something.
Did you make that, Vince? What you posted?
Well, chat GBT,
Oh,
GPT.
well, but you were involved. It's very nice. I like it.
I told it what to make. So uh, those of you who'd like to contact us, you can contact us through a message, and it's a message, a direct message, or you can put a comment on one of our platforms, or you can actually email us at one card, one cup, one beer at gmail.com. And I do eventually get around to reading all of those. Sometimes I get busy and don't.
One day I'm going to learn to read, and then I can read them too.
Well, JJ, if you learn to read, then you're going to have start having your own thoughts, and then you'll leave.
Yeah, like everybody else.
Yeah. If you'd like to support our efforts, go to patreon.com and in the search bar, you type in One Cardinal, One Cup, and One Beer, and you can support our efforts for $3, $5, or $10 a month. And that is money that is well invested in this. As you can see, we have this beautiful studio going here.
Yes.
I bought some orange cleaner you can see in the back.
Ooh.
So I could actually clean this office. And I actually use my own money. But if you give us enough Patreon, I'll get a case of orange cleaner and I'll give JJ half of it. I'll have half. We will not only have these beautiful sets, we will have clean sets. That would be pretty cool. So, JJ, how are you doing?
Doing really good, Vince. I love, a lot of you. I don't know if everybody knows this, but Vince has another podcast where him and his daughter talk about movies from television, and I enjoy that. So if you get a chance, matter of fact, me and Brody watched the one about. Did you do Duel? Was that one of the ones you did?
Duel was the first one we did, yes.
Well, Brody, we watched your podcast, and then we went together and watched a movie. And he said, "Dad, that's a pretty good movie, very suspenseful." So look at that, bringing families together. Your podcast, bringing families together.
See, we both have an interest in TV movies, and Tabitha and her husband Mondo, they're like movie TV encyclopedias. I mean, they know everything about it. That's like their interest. Um, I really have an interest in movies, especially TV movies, because growing up I watched a lot of TV movies, and they get maligned, and some of them are pretty bad. And we've done some pretty bad ones, like The Last Dinosaur. This last one we did, A Howling in the Woods. It's not a good movie, but we still have fun critiquing the movies. And some of these movies are really good. Like Duel, I think it's a fantastic movie. Trilogy of Terror is just wonderful.
Yes.
There's oh Tabitha. The other few weeks ago, we did the pilot for The Streets of San Francisco, and because the pilot was a TV movie. My golly, that was a great movie. I thought,
I saw the podcast. I didn't watch it yet. because I said I'm going to put that aside. Sometimes late at night I'll put something on. Haven't watched that yet, but I haven't seen the movie either. Now you make me want to go see that or go find the movie and watch it.
Yeah. So anyway, well, thank you for the plug for the podcast. It's called Small Screen Cinema with Tabitha and Dad, and we have a very, very, very tiny following right now.
It's going to
And
grow.
I mean, I'll admit it. It's not. It's more or less an excuse for me and Tabitha to get together and yak every week about something we like. I like trying to do stuff with my kids, each one of them in their interest field, and so we have a lot of common interests in these TV movies, so we have a good time. And you can see why my kids ended up so warped the way we talk to each other. So,
Well, when I was a kid, I had a Super 8 camera. That was the kind of cameras I had back then. Now you could shoot a movie on your phone, I guess. But I
yeah,
had a Super 8, and I'd get the neighborhood kids together. We'd film movies. We did classics like Renegade Nuns on Wheels about a motorcycle gang of nuns. Of course, I was one of the nuns. I was the enforcer. I was the Terry Gordy of the nuns. There was a Michael Hayes, there was a Buddy Roberts, and there was me.
I'm trying
So
to. Is this anywhere where I can see this?
no, it's on Super 8. It's on a disc. It's on a disc, a Super 8 thing. But I do have the only copy of First Blood 16. Now, we weren't the handsomest, the guy, the flavor of the month. So we couldn't get girls for the most part to be in our movie. So it was like Mighty Python. We had to play the ladies. And in it, I'm Shelley Winters as Stallone's wife. And he has a flashback. He has a flashback every time he sees toast. And I say, I bring him his breakfast and he has toast and he has a flashback and he knocks me over the table. So I did stunts too. I did my own stunts, Vince. And this First Blood 16, a classic. I'm telling you.
I had a friend in high school. He and his buddy would make movies, but I never saw one of them. But he'd explain, because he'd have the film, there's, look at him. Like they had army men, and they would do like stop motion
Oh,
type
yeah.
stuff.
Oh,
And then one of them with the flamethrower, he just did the hairspray thing, the aerosol thing, lit a lighter and sprayed all the army men. That's that's kind of cool. So
special effect was okay. We had with Sheriff and Stallone in the car on First Blood. Well, when the sheriff talks, he's driving, and the guy who wasn't in the scene took clumps of grass and went like this. So it looked like, he's driving by bushes. And then when the other guy was in it, the other guy would get out and do that as he would shoot his scene. And then we bounce back and forth in this scene, There was something else. That was good times. Good times.
oh yeah. So what else is going on with you?
Oh man, I don't know. Getting over this illness, I've been trying to find the Cardinals, Vince. Getting to our baseball, they're hard to find. They said Sunday's game was going to be televised. Vince, I went out, I rode my bicycle that morning. I was getting ready, had everything set up. We could not find the game anywhere. I had to listen to it on the radio, which I don't mind, but if I could see it, I'd rather see it. And so I guess I'm going to have to get the MLB Cardinals TV and MLB for $200 for the whole year, and I can see
Yeah,
all the games.
$200 will do the whole season for the Cardinals and everybody else. So
Yeah, I don't want to take any chances because I want to see the Cubs play. I want to see all the teams. Like you said, you kind of motivated me. It's good to see every team play 3 to 5 game, at least 3 to 5 times, and see these young stars. And sometimes it's a guy. This is the last year is go like Kershaw last year. I want to see these great players. And for years, I didn't have TV. I just listened on the radio. So I'm so excited. I'm going to do that before the season starts. That's my thing there. And then over the weekend, I just kind of took it easy. Wasn't feeling good, so I did projects like I'm working on all my Ricky. I'm going to try to get all the Ricky Henderson cards like I did Ian Slaughter and scrapbooking. I scrapbook everything, so I know that's not a very cool thing to do, but I've got scrapbooks since the day I went in the military to the present day, and the kids go back and they've taken over the scrapbook. It was all about me the first two being in the Navy, but after that, eventually college, wife, kids, and now it's 60% about the kids. So that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, then before you know it, it'll be grandkids.
Oh yeah,
I'm
maybe.
thinking about grandkids. Well, let's get into some baseball news. There's a few there's a million transactions
Yeah.
right now. I only picked out the ones that I noticed I recognize the players because I mean there's so many transactions that go on. This guy's into camp, this guy left camp, this guy changed his number, this guy has a swollen toe, just so these are the ones of note. Uh, Dominic Smith has signed a minor league deal with the Braves. I've always liked Dominic Smith. I think he's a pretty good bat off the bench. And like I said last week, he's not really playing to try to get a roster spot with the Braves. He's playing to get a roster spot with anyone. Because even if the Braves don't need him, if he has a good spring, other teams can take notice. So that's why a lot of these guys will take these minor league contracts with whoever offers them. They don't necessarily want to play for this team or that team, but hey, someone might see me and I can extend my career. Speaking of extending, the Braves have extended Chris Sale 1 year, $27 million. And I am so happy because he was about to lose his house, his car, the clothes off his
How's
back.
he going to make it, Vince? How's he going to
Yeah,
make it? And they give him an option for 28 as well.
yeah. So he will probably make it till about the age of 40 and then he'll go broke. That's probably what's going to happen. So Mitch Garver, who just a few years ago we thought, oh, Mitch Garver is going to be a star. He signed a minor league deal with the Mariners, whom he played for last year. So he's mostly a DH now, and they have him in camp, and we'll see what happens with him. Yency Almonte, who was with the Cubs for a short spell but was injured, uh, he signed a minor league deal back with his original team, the Dodgers, and the Dodgers also playing Jack Suwinski off waivers for the Pirates. And I sure thought Jack Suwinski, guy from Chicago, was going to be a star. He had a year, he hit like 27 home runs and was a decent center fielder for not having a ton of speed. He ran good routes and got to the ball, and I thought this guy's going to be something good. And after that 1 year, he has just had struggle after struggle. And now he's to a point where he was waived by the Pirates. Dodgers see something in him, so the Dodgers pick him up. Um, Maybe they can reawaken him. I hate the Dodgers as much as I do, but they do a lot of things right. They are really good at player development. They are really good at knowing how to get the most out of players.
They sure are.
And players that you think of like Justin Turner, you think of other players like Kiki Hernandez, who's there again for a second time. Um, these players just go to the Dodgers, and the Dodgers get the most out of them. Players who are almost cast-offs from other teams. So
Gavin Lux was a guy I saw with the Dodgers, and I thought, man, he's pretty good. And then they sent him to Cincinnati, and then now Cincinnati just 1 year, and he's moved on to another team now. I'm
yeah,
trying to think, I think maybe Tampa Bay. But anyway, he's still in the league, but I just thought, oh, this guy's going to be like a Max Muncy, a core,
Max
not
Muncy's
that,
another one. Yeah,
yeah, Max Muncy. They just keep doing this, and man, I wish we had a little of that magic. We used to. Maybe we'll get it back one day.
right. I do hope that Jack Sawinski. I hope he gets things straightened out with the Dodgers and becomes productive again. Uh, it, that 1 year he killed the Cubs, and you see that a lot. A hometown guy, playing as the team he grew up rooting for, and just goes out there and wants to kill them, and he did for a year. Uh, Reese Hoskins signs a minor league deal with the Guardians. I'm not a big fan of Reese Hoskins, so there you go.
Well, I remember a play he was maybe early in the season a couple years ago, was running over to first, and I guess he pulled a hamstring or something. He was down, missed that year, came back with the Brewers. They moved Harper to first, so he was kind of out of a job in Philly. and now he's signed a minor league deal with Cleveland. So I think the Cardinals had kind of a run-in with him during the game, but you know,
Yeah, I don't remember who the pitcher was, but anyway, Hoskins went to the bench and then he started chirping. That's what made me mad. I'm thinking, oh, and then he had his whole team in front of him. I'm thinking, oh,
yeah,
that's not how you do it. You nut up and you go out there and you confront them, let the team come behind you.
if that upsets you that much,
I know how baseball fights work. Nobody gets hurt. You go out there first, knowing that the whole team's going to be behind you, and then you just start yelling, ah, 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 and then the whole team
yeah,
comes in back away. Yep,
a
that's
lot of
how.
dancing. Usually, a lot of dancing around. Yeah, that's true.
Uh, Speaking of the Brewers, Pat Murphy has signed a 3-year extension with the Brewers.
Good
So,
for him.
yeah, good for him, bad for us.
Yeah,
Wanted them to fire him and get
yeah, some nobody in there.
someone who didn't know what they were doing, like me. I will go manage the Brewers. What? I want Kristen Yelich at shortstop. What?
Yeah, yeah. Hey, I love my Cardinals, but if somebody offered me a deal to be anything, what the San Francisco Giants have instead of ball boys have ball men. I've been ball man. Wear the Giants stuff to be out there, whatever it took. I just love to be part of the MLB in some way. But yeah, man, I know what you're talking about. I'll take any job.
Oh yeah, yeah. I would do anything. So, Elias Diaz, catcher, has signed a minor league deal with the Royals. So, and that's really it for the people of name that I saw. And sometimes something will come across the wire after I've had a chance to look at it. But so, do you know of any other transactions, JJ?
I had wrote a few down. I got the Sale, the Murphy. Uh, that is really about it. The next thing I was going to talk about is Bill Mazeroski of the Pirates passed away. I know you here lately been doing the obituaries, but Bill Mazeroski and Vince, every um, insider for baseball that's like, I'm trying to think of some of the older guys, but they all said easily the best defensive second baseman any of them have ever seen. Now his hitting was just, he's a Hall of Famer. And when you go to PNC Park, there's 4 statues outside the stadium. When you come off of the bridge, the Clemente Bridge, there's a Roberto Clemente. Down the same side of the stadium, there's a Willie Stargell. If you go to the other side of the stadium, there's a Honus Wagner. And then there's the Bill Mazeroski one where he's sort of rounding second base with his hands in the air and the wall back there. I guess originally a piece of the wall, but it was a shot heard around the world. It was the only walk off in Game 7 of the World Series, and the Pirates beat the Yankees. Now Joe Carter, I know, had a walk off in Game 6,
Yeah.
but not Game 7 in the World Series. But
Now,
go ahead.
there is a fifth statue out there.
Is there a
In
fifth?
Yeah, you didn't know
Oh,
that?
well, it must have been out. It must have been the sun blocked my eyes. I didn't see a fifth one out
Well,
there.
it's Kent Jacoby. It's 2-dimensional, so you got to
I
be
saw
looking
from his,
right.
from his side.
I've seen pictures of Kent Jacoby as he's gotten older. He's beefed up a bit. He's not the
Okay,
120
he
pound, 6'2" guy he was.
he was. You're right. You turned sideways, you couldn't see the guy. He had those shaded glasses, and submarine pitcher, man. Yeah, but Mazeroski, I always liked him. I studied his name would always come up. I don't know. I didn't think of him as the greatest defensive second baseman, but all the Buster Only, Jeff Passan, these type of people are saying, "Oh, you can't even argue that guy's the greatest second baseman." I was like, "Okay, well, I'll leave it to you guys. You know more than I do."
Well,
But
he had 8 Gold Gloves, and he holds the record for most double plays as second baseman both in a season and for his career. And with the amount of strikeouts we have now, and that's probably just going to go up, that record's probably safe. Like you said, you had this Game 7 walk-off home run. I still don't think he's a Hall of Famer. There's a few that are so far below the bar. I would put Mazeroski in there. I will put Rabbit Moranville in there. I will put Harold Baines in there. Um,
Yeah.
heck, I'll even put Tony Perez in there, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But but he's in, so I give him his props for being a Hall of Famer. Lived to be 89 years old, and so he played up until 72. Was he on that 71 World Series team
Must
with?
have been. I don't know if he was a starter anymore, but sometimes you got a legend. They still get to play quite a bit. Maybe he was platooning or something. But honestly, I don't know Vince. But if he was there, he was playing some.
Hmm. Oh, August 29th, Jeff Kent is going to have his number retired by the Giants, which is very fitting. And it was really cool. I read a story where, when he made it to the Hall of Fame, got voted in by the Legends Committee or whatever they call it, he got a lot of texts, and he said his phone rang. And like most people, if you don't recognize the answer, you'd let it go to voicemail. He said, for some reason, I picked it up, said, hello, Jeff? Yeah, it's me. He said, this is Johnny Bench. He said, oh my gosh, it's Johnny Bench. So Johnny Bench actually went out of his way to give him a call to congratulate him, and he was really excited about that.
Welcome into the club, man.
Yeah.
You know what's so great is Jeff Kent. All time great, and he still got excited when Johnny Bench called him. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I I've had my opportunity to meet some celebrities. And the only time I was ever starstruck, um, and this sounds so weird, but I used to listen to Howard Stern just to hear Stuttering John. And then one night, I was doing an open mic at the old Hey Guys Comedy Club, and Brian McDowell walks in with Stuttering John. And I knew that he was doing a weekend there. And I'm like, oh my gosh, Stuttering John is he's sitting right next to me. I could not work up the courage to say, hi, I'm a big fan or anything. I just sat there like an idiot. And I thought, what's wrong with you? You're in your 50s. Just talk to the guy. You've talked to people who are famous before. Couldn't do it. So then, like a year or two later, um, when I started promoting shows with my friend Gary, we were working with a guy who represented John. And so we got John to do a couple shows for us, to come into town, do a couple shows. Nicest guy. And, he was selling his book, and um, he gave me a book and signed it and everything. It just really cool, just down to earth. And I finally I said, and this was like after spending a whole day with him. I said, I want to tell you, I said, I don't, I don't ever tell anybody this. I said, but I met you before. I almost met you before, but I was too starstruck to talk to you. I've never been starstruck before in my life. And he's like looking at me like, me? Kid from Queens? Are you kidding me? But anyway, he was so nice, and he, signed the copy of the book and everything. And the first show that we did was a disaster, and it wasn't his fault. The place we were having it did not properly promote it, and the crowd was down, and he still did his thing as good as could be. And then the next time we had a big crowd, and he did great. But yeah, that's the only time I've like been like, what to say to you.
Well, my only time so far is Roddy Piper. I was he was and there was an event right before I had a big vacation plan, but I said, "Oh, Roddy Piper, I'm going," and paid a little extra. And me and my son Noah got in the ring, and I didn't know what to say. And I looked at him, and he looked at me, and I couldn't talk. And he put his hand on my shoulder, and he said, "It's okay, big guy, it's okay." And I said, "I've seen They Live 5 times." And he goes, "I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry." That's all I could say to him. Then I introduced Noah, and we got some pictures with him. As a matter of fact, one of them's right up, one of them's right there. Roddy Piper, me, and Noah. right there. Yeah. So how about that?
Cool.
Yeah. So that was my one time, and it turned out to be a great story. And he was just a wonderful guy, and he could tell we were general fans. We just want to spend time telling him how much we love him, and got a picture with him. So that was pretty darn cool.
Question: who was the first celebrity you ever met?
First celebrity I ever met. I remember you had a story where Tanya Tucker pretty much ran right through you. Uh,
I didn't
I
meet
was,
her.
I well, I got okay. So I was at Six Flags. We went once a year. That was like our big vacation when I was a kid. And hey, we didn't have a lot of money. I was grateful. But right there after the Screaming Eagle, you come down and they had like a stage and stuff right there. And I see them putting the equipment up there. So I'm looking and I'm just standing there, and all of a sudden there's a curly haired guy with mirrored sunglasses coming down, and he's shaking hands. And he comes up to me and goes, "Hey man, thanks for coming. I really appreciate it." And I said, "Hey, no problem." Shook his hand. He went that way, and I said, "Who is that?" And they said, "Oh, that's Rupert Holmes. Remember, I like
Oh,
pina
pina
coladas. The
coladas.
pina colada man. Yeah,
Wow.
celebrity right there.
My first
Who?
celebrity was actually the time that I almost got ran over by Tanya Tucker, but I didn't meet her. She just nearly ran me over. But I did go up and I got David Allan Coe's autograph. So I met David Allan Coe when I was like 6 years old. And
About that.
my mom used to drag me to country music shows. And so I saw a lot of them. That's probably what got me so used to when I saw they're just normal people. Some of them were kind of like, yeah, that's not really my favorite type of person either. So, but yeah, I was really starstruck when Stuttering John was there.
Be darned. Be darned.
Uh, Back to the baseball. Tarek Skubals announced that he's only going to make one start in the World Baseball Classic, and it's going to be in the pool round. And then he plans on going back and resuming spring training. But he did say if they get to the finals, he's going to try to go there and at least be there for the finals. So uh, that's if I don't know, he pitches against like Lithuania or something. I don't know. Uh, the common, you know.
Yeah.
Remember when the first year of the Dream Team, the very first game they played, I think it was Angola, and
Yes.
their tallest guy was like 6'4". So they're interviewing all the Dream Team before, we're gonna do this, being very diplomatic. Get to Charles Barkley, he said, they in trouble.
Yeah. I don't know anything about Angola, but they're getting their butt kicked.
Yeah.
Hey, Vince, they got odds for everything, and some players, it's good to have confidence. I know I don't even think about confidence. I just do my own thing. But I have to say this: Jazz Chisholm has made a proclamation that this year he'll be going to do 50. He's going to make it in the 50-50 club. Now, Jazz, I don't know what the odds are on this, but I think I'll take the under. 31 home, yeah, 31 home runs is the most he's ever hit, and I think 37 stolen bases, something like that. So bless his heart. Hey, I love the confidence that he's out there. And they said, Otani was the first guy to do it. And he goes, well, I'll be the second guy. So let's keep an eye on that. But also, he was asked, would he take I think the Yankees were going to pay him $25 million. I think this is his last year of his contract. And would you accept that? He said, no, I want 35 and I want it for 10 years. So Jazz Chisholm's making a lot of noise out there. I know that's a lot. And I think he's kind of one of these guys that either you love him or you can't stand him. But he's flamboyant. He makes the game interesting with his antics and everything. But I don't know. There's some managers I don't know if it would go over so well. But anyway, Jazz Chisholm's out there making a bunch of noise. So it's going to be fun watching the Yankees, see if he can live up to these expectations. He's probably going to let it all hang out because this is his free agent year coming up.
He's a very good ball player. He's a great ball player. I boy, I don't know. Um, Now, just because he said that, I'm rooting against him. I hope he hits 13 home runs and steals 9 bases and hits 122. All right. So
Yeah, yeah. When the Marlins needed a center fielder, he said, I'll do it. But he never played center field, and he wasn't very good that year. But I give him credit. He went out there and did his absolute best and fell on his face a few times, but he was out. He made some good plays too. But he does whatever the team needs. He moved around a lot with the
oh yeah,
Yankees, you know.
yeah.
So I give him that. I give
I
him
don't
that right there.
I don't question his heart and his talent. He's a gamer,
Yeah,
but yeah, when you make that kind of a statement, I'm like, yeah, I hope you fall flat.
yeah. I know. It's good to have confidence, but that's cocky right there.
Yeah. Mike Trout is moving back to center field. So I guess his 20 game season will be in center field this year.
Yes.
Um, uh,
It's sad. Man, the first 10 years of his career, he was phenomenal. He's still a great player. He just can't stay on the field. And that's a big
yeah,
part of it right there.
yeah. When he plays, he produces. Um,
Yes. Oh yeah.
so um, World Baseball Classic is going to be starting soon. Um, I'm I'm very juiced for that. Um,
Me
I know
too.
the Cubs have 8 people from their organization that's going to be playing for different teams. I know the Cardinals have a few players. So we're in kind of a situation in spring training where there are teams who are having to gather names just to field teams while these players are gone.
You're
Cubs are
right.
in that boat. The Dodgers are kind of in that boat. So it's just kind of a weird phenomena that you have. But I was listening to Ian Happ's podcast, and his co-host uh, Dakota Mekas never made it over, made it past AAA, but he went to a few spring trainings with the Cubs, and he said that when you're a minor leaguer and you go to spring training, you get a stipend every week. You get that check every week, and it's a stipend, but it's good money.
Yeah.
So he was talking that one team, I can't remember what, like 2 days into spring training, sent a couple guys to the minor league camp. And he's like, and Dakota was like, man, this minor leaguers, they really look forward to like 3 or 4 weeks in camp where they get this nice check. What did you do wrong in 2 days that you demoted? Oh, anyway, that's all the news I have. Besides Mazeroski, there's no other obituaries.
Got
You
a
got
few stories. The Chicago White Sox, sometimes they just, you think, I always think these organizations have their stuff together. I remember every once in a while you hear a Rule 5 guy that falls through the cracks because they didn't know, a general manager didn't know a rule or something. But the general manager of the White Sox is Chris Getz, who was a player, and he's been doing a lot of interviews talking about the upcoming year, and he's excited about these players, and he was describing one player as a switch hitter in multiple interviews, and it turns out to be um, it's Acuna, and I got his name here. It's like Losangel Acuna. But the problem is he's not a switch hitter, Vince. He's been telling everybody in these interviews, "Oh, we got this kid. He's a switch hitter. We're going to be using him." He is he comes from a talented family and everything, and he's a younger brother of Ronald Acuna, but he's strictly a right-handed player and will play third base and some outfield for the White Sox.
Are
So
you
that's
sure?
well,
Maybe
no,
pitcher.
I don't know. Maybe they're going to teach him. Hey, don't make us look like fools. Learn to bat left-handed. So he's got about 4 weeks to get ready bat left-handed. But that brought me up to switch hitters. I always ask you a trivia question, or we look at a phase of baseball, and through the years there was about from 1990 to 2010 there was about 99, an average of 99 switch hitters in Major League Baseball per year. But here lately it's decreasing. Everything's getting so specialized, and there's only 46 in 2024. There was only 46 switch hitters in Major League Baseball, so it's kind of a dying breed. There's one 3,000 hit guy who's a switch hitter, and that's Eddie Murray. Let's
Wait a
see.
minute. Pete Rose.
Pete Rose. Why did I see one 3,000 hitter? Well, that's true. Pete Rose. All right. Well, then let's get down to the nuts and bolts of it. Can you name? And I did. I was like, how can we say these are the five greatest? So I took WAR, the five highest WAR switch hitters. Would you care to take a guess at them? At the five.
Mantle.
Number one, 110.2 WAR. That's impressive.
I'll put Rose in there.
Rose is four with 79.1.
Um, I don't know. I'll put Murray in there.
Murray is just outside the top five.
That's what I thought because he played with so many other great first basemen. It's hard to
Yeah.
accumulate that high of a WAR. So, all right. So we got one, two.
I think you're going to get two of them.
I've got
Well, I
two.
think you're going to get one for sure, but then the other one you'll be surprised by. Uh,
Um, gosh, great switch hitters.
uh,
Um,
Hall of Fame. Oh well, I don't know. I think all three of them are Hall of Famers. Both of them, two of them played in your lifetime of watching as a fan. Both National Leaguers.
Simmons?
No, no, good memory. Um, played number two has played his whole career with one team. Uh, let's see, what else can I tell you? The team he played for had a lot of Hall of Famers on that team.
Okay. Um,
Matter of fact, one of his teammates is going to the Hall of Fame this year. This is kind of
okay.
big. I don't want to give it away. He goes
Uh,
by his nickname. His real first name is something else, but he goes by like Catfish Hunter. He goes by a nickname. I think it's a nickname.
Chipper Jones, was he a switch hitter?
Yes, he was. Chipper
Okay.
Jones. Number two, 85.3. I didn't realize, I know he's a Hall of Famer, but I didn't realize he was that elite. I just knew he
When
was
you look
really
at
good.
his numbers, he kind of went under the radar.
He sure did. And
Playing in
that
New
whole team
York
was
or
so
LA.
talented. That was the thing. He had those three pitchers, and Bobby Cox is in there, and John Sherholtz, and Andrew Jones now.
So
The
I've
fifth
got
one is a Cardinal.
three. Huh?
The fifth one is a Cardinal. But he got so many points on defense ability.
Oh, Ozzy.
Ozzie Smith. Ozzie had a 76.5 WAR. And I didn't know that when I said the top five WAR guys. But number three, I don't know if I don't think I've ever heard of this guy. He played in 1890 to 1909. His name is George Davis.
Oh yeah, I saw George play.
I got a couple of his baseball cards back there. 84.7. So the third highest uh, WAR ever. He played mainly with Cleveland, but also had stints with the Giants and the White Sox. So you got four contemporary players, and then George Davis. Yeah, you caught me on a 3,000 thing. Yeah, Pete Rose, of course, he had 4,000. Maybe that's it. He wasn't a 3,000 hit guy. He was a 4,000 hit guy. Um, let's see. Anything else in here?
Any Cardinals currently switch hit?
Boy, that's a great question.
We have half the switch hits. Um,
I don't know. I don't recall. I don't know. Maybe I was going to say Sajasi. Maybe I'm a big Sajasi fan. This kid's going to be, I think, a good player. Going to be a good player. But I don't know. I don't know if we do. All right. Yeah, I'll find out, and next week I'll announce if we have a switch hitter. But off the top of my head, I don't recall any switch hitters on the Cardinals. And in the '80s, they had like three or four of them.
oh yeah, I mean that was the Cardinals. You couldn't pitch to them because they had all the switch hitters.
We'll turn around on you.
I think the
Yeah.
reason you see a decline in switch hitting is because if you're a power hitter, you're going to have one side where your weak side, so it's very hard to. You might as well let's say right hand is your natural side, but you're facing primarily right-handers, and if left hand is not your natural side and you don't have quite the pop, you might as well hit right-handed, lose some batting average, but you'll pop a few more home runs. I think that's got a lot to do with it.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And but yeah, I admire him, man. That's something. Two other things, real quickly. ABS is officially here. The robot umps. There's been a lot of ways to do it. I've heard some teams are not going to allow uh, the pitchers to activate it. You only got a few seconds, and evidently there's some rules. You only got like a couple of seconds, and you got to make the call. Then you can't. A base runner can't say, "Yeah, make the call." You got to do it yourself. The bench can't help you. It's just the pitcher, the hitter, and the catcher. Um, and if you run out of challenges, you get two, and then every extra inning you get another one because you're playing the game for 9 innings. Most of the time you don't expect to have extra innings, so every extra inning you'll get one challenge, and then if you don't use it, you still you get one the next, but you don't get they don't multiply up. Say if you got a 18 inning game or anything like that, they're going to be in every stadium except there's going to be 3 games. They won't have the robot umps. They are there's a game in Mexico City, the Diamondbacks versus the Padres, April 25th and 26th. There will not be the ABS system in place there. Um, the Field of Dreams game, which is the Twins and the Phillies, August 13th, they don't have that there. And the Little League Classic game, the Brewers and the Braves, August 23rd. So it's here to stay. I've seen some players use it on not a not a 3-2 count. They'll use it right in the middle. And I know the Cardinals today ran out of challenges around the 4th inning. We've got 67 guys in camp right now, and these guys, a lot of them I've never heard of. Yeah, I want to challenge. A lot of them are trying to keep their jobs. So I don't know what the rule's going to be once the season starts, but that's out there, and I'm excited to see this in play, Vince. I really am.
If you were a baseball executive for the Cardinals, would you allow the pitchers to challenge, or
Yes, I would. I
I
would.
I wouldn't, because
You
every
would.
pitcher thinks he threw a strike.
I know. Who was it last year? Max Scherzer. He went through like 2 challenges in the 1st inning, and then they are in a practice game. They didn't have any more the rest of the game. He thought every pitch was a very good call. That's true. But some teams are only going to let the catchers call it.
Yeah, if
So
I if it was my call, I'd tell, hey, we'll let the catcher decide. He's got a better view of it, number one. And
yeah,
number two, you think everything you throw is a strike because that's what pitchers are.
that's true. Yeah, because they even use body English to let the no, they didn't like the call. They don't want to call no names. But sometimes they'll grab that ball, or they'll take a step toward the dugout or something like that. You see that a lot. Well, Vince, my question for you, this was popular last week, either or, our new little category here. And I
Okay.
have a question for you. And if you were a manager of a major league team and everything was kind of equal, you had a player, but would you tilt your lineup for more offense or more defense? Like usually you always have like 5, 6 guys that are going to be in your lineup, but there's always that right fielder. And I guess it depends on the game and everything, but you find yourself tilting a little more, less defense, more offense, or vice versa.
I think that I would base that upon my pitching staff. If I had a staff like the Cubs have, that they don't have strikeout pitchers, and that's why they have built it around elite defense. If I had a staff like the Dodgers, who are not that great defensively, I mean they're pretty good. They have their players who have the Yankees are not good defensively at all. But when you have pitchers that miss so many bats, you can get away with a subpar defense. So it would be contingent upon my pitching staff. If I saw a scenario where I had young pitching coming up that was more strikeouts, like the Cubs, their young pitchers are hard throwing strikeout people, and they've traded for Cabrera, so they're going to have Cabrera for I think 3 more years of control. Cade Horton, Jackson Wiggins is coming up. Ben Brown is looked good in his spring training debut, so they still have hope for him. Then you could maybe, yeah, I could sacrifice a little bit of defense in a few positions for more offense. I think that's how I would do it.
You, and we've all had players on both of our teams that we love, but they're not very good defensively. You
Yeah.
know, they Roger Freed, who hit the grand slam the game you went to, or Dave Kingman, I think of. Not the not Mr. Defense, but that guy could hit. He was must watch television when he came up to the plate. He was going to get his money's worth.
When in the mid-teens, when the Cardinals had really good staffs and their relievers were coming in throwing so hard, uh, they were missing a lot of bats, and a lot of pop-ups, stuff like that that are easy. Anybody can catch those. They, yeah, they could get away with a few weaker defenders because the pitching staff was just missing so many bats. And I remember in I think it was 2014 watching the Cardinals, every reliever threw harder than the last one, and we were coming in and we were bringing in soft tosser after soft tosser, and I'm thinking, "Dead gum, no wonder we suck in the Cardinals."
Well, remember Chris Duncan, who was a first baseman by trade, but there was no place for him to play, so he put him in left field, and Edmonds pretty much played as much as he could over there too. But that first year, he really lit it up hitting. But yeah, he was there for offense. But there's always players like that. I heard somebody say that the minor leagues are littered with guys, good glove men. Hard to find really good hitters. And one of the teams I always think of, Vince, is the Phillies. Back when they had like Pete Incaviglia and John Kruk, that looked like a softball team. They come out there and they would, and Darren Dalton, and they just be swinging and hitting the ball all over the place. But they gave up a lot of runs too.
Yeah.
So that's it for my baseball news, Vince.
Oh, what's going on with the Cardinals?
Well, I first want to salute a little tip of the cap there to Stubby Clapp. I don't know if you know this, but the Canada has a sports hall of fame, and Stubby Clapp is one of the 6 players that's going into the Hall of Fame up there. Yes, I love Stubby Clapp, and I've got some stats here I did not know. Stubby Clapp, he played like one season with the Cardinals. He played a lot of years in the minors. Former second baseman, he was a AAA manager, led the Memphis team to two championships, and he's been the first base coach now, I believe, since 90s. Let's see, 2019, I believe. But he was drafted by the Cardinals in the 36th round, worked his butt off. It was in the 96 draft and played 11 years in the minors. And Vince, he played 3 years at Memphis, and he was the first player. Now I know this is like, well, it's not McCovey and Mays and those guys, but the Memphis Redbirds retired his number 10 in Memphis for the 3 years he put in down there, and he was just a fan favorite. He had a bobblehead day, and and then as a manager, they loved him, and so that's pretty cool. He played 911 minor league games, and his numbers retired, and he was the first player to have his number retired at Memphis. And he's coached since 2010 in the minors. He's coached with Houston and Toronto, and in 2016 he took over the Memphis job and for the Cardinals minor leagues to 2 titles, like I said. And Stubby is in the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame, and some of the players that are in that, Ryan Dempster said this wonderful thing on the MLB channel about Stubby Clapp, how he knew him really well, and he's just been an ambassador to baseball up in Canada, and that sport is growing in Canada thanks to people like Stubby Clapp. But he's been inducted, and some of the other players up there, I guess you could either be Canadian or play for a Canadian team, but Devin White, Bill Stoneman, Fergie, of course, Fergie Jenkins, the great Fergie Jenkins, Justin Morneau, Steve Rogers, And that's just some of the players that's inducted into the Canadian Hall of Fame. Larry Walker's in that and up there as well. And it's in a place called St. Mary's, which isn't that far from Toronto, I hear. So I talked to my wife. I'm going up there to Toronto, and I said, "Hey, you want to go to the Canadian Baseball Hall of Fame?" She goes, "I don't think so. We're not doing that. So I'm not going to get to go, Vince." Well, the Cardinals signed Ramon Urias, and he's a 31-year-old third baseman, utility man, and he's won a Gold Glove. He was a Cardinal at one time, and it was one of those things where we tried to move him through uh, waivers, and he got picked up by Baltimore, played third base for him that year, and won the Gold Glove. He was in the Mexican League last year and was an all-star down there. We needed a right-handed bat, and all the Cardinal fans, well, actually, we were told they were looking for an outfielder, a right-handed hitter. We were thinking Austin Hayes, but then he got picked up by somebody. We thought maybe McCutcheon. It'd be great to have McCutcheon, but we're really not a contender. He deserves to be on a contender. We've got all these young guys we're going to take a look at, and Urias will probably make the team as a bench guy who can play multiple positions. And so he's played in the big leagues for 6 years with Baltimore and Houston. So it's good to have him aboard. And he's what I would call a professional hitter. So he'll probably be a guy who makes the team. Um, let's see, anything else? What was oh, it's baseball. It's spring training for everybody, Vince. And Michael McCreevy pitched Sunday's game, and he's been on the Cardinals for 2 years now. Not the whole seasons, but he's come up. And I really like this kid. He looks like he's going to be one of our starters, maybe a number three on a. If he's on a good team, he'd probably be a number four. But Vince, they used the batting practice balls. They didn't switch out the balls. Now, the reason this is unique is uh, they don't like put the mud on there and rev them up. They're just it's harder to get a grip. Well, the first guy he pitched to hit a home run, and then they realized, hey, these ain't the game balls. So they brought the game balls out. He pitched very well after that. But the first man got a home run off of him. But it's spring training for the crew too. Jose Fermin and Thomas Ajacey are playing the outfield a lot. And I tell you what, Thomas Ajacey, I think he might be our backup center fielder this year. He's a very good hitter, and he plays pretty much every position. And with Lars Nootbaar coming back, but I don't know if he's going to be ready for opening day. It's probably going to be Fermin or Church playing left field until Lars gets back. Church is one of our big prospects down in Memphis, and he may be ready to come up. And I think Fermin will play against one like righties and Church against lefties. And so JC will just play all over the place. Today he was playing shortstop. Of course, that's Mason Wynn, but they've got him playing everywhere. I think everywhere but catcher on the team. So he's taking that Edmonds and Donovan position. And Vince, all I can say is it's just good to have baseball back, and that's pretty much my Cardinal news.
Oh, there's a ton of news with the Cubs. Nah.
Crickets.
We did sign catcher Ethan Hearn to a minor league contract. We also signed pitcher Jackson Brockett to a contract. And then we made a move that just surprised the heck out of me. We signed left fielder Michael Conforto to a minor league contract. Conforto was terrible last year with the Dodgers. They didn't even put him on the playoff roster. He hit under 200. I think he only poked like 12 home runs. He just wasn't that good. We have an outfield that's pretty much set. We have Happ in left, PCA in center, and in right, we're going to have Seiya a lot of the times, and we'll have Ballesteros DHing. Then we're going to have times where looks like we're going to put Shaw because he's taking a lot of reps and playing a lot of right field. Looks like we're going to have Shaw in right field at times when Seiya can DH and Ballesteros uh, maybe facing a tough left-hander would sit the bench. Um, so we've got these other three. We have um, Dylan Carlson. We now have Conforto, and we have the other guy. Gosh, can't remember his name now, but we got three veterans who have a track record, and I don't quite know what we're going to do with them. why they're there, except maybe that this is, hey, you're not going to make the team, but you're going to get some playing time because we got 8 guys that are going to be going to World Baseball Classic. So you'll get your at bats. People have a chance to see you. And the reason I say that is because as far as the fourth outfielder goes, we have the Jaguar, Kevin Alcantara, who there's nothing left for him to prove in AAA. He's not being great in AAA, but he's he's major league
Right.
ready. And then Craig Counsell was basically saying how impressed he is with Alcantara. So I don't know if we're going to get a veteran, um, one of these veteran outfielders to be a fourth outfielder, where Shaw's going to kind of play like Swiss Army knife guy. I don't think they're going to get rid of Alcantara because we have Saya and we have Ian, both the last year of their contracts. So we're going to need outfield. So we got rid of Owen Casey in the Cabrera deal. So I, I, I'm kind of just mystified why with all these outfield options, why did we sign Conforto to a minor league contract? The only thing that makes sense is he's going to get some at bats while the World Baseball Classic's going on. I don't know. Porter Hodge, who 2 years ago finished the year as our closer, in his first spring training, he was hurt a lot last year and didn't pitch much. In his first spring training outing, he did throw 25 pitches, and he was able to put 8 of those in the strike zone. So that's not too good when you're putting
Working
30
on something, Vince.
of
He's
the
working
ball.
on something.
Oh, he doesn't have that luxury on something. He doesn't have enough of a track record. So I was like, huh, 4 walks and but he came in yesterday and pitched a clean. Well, he walked one, but he didn't give up any
That's
hits
better.
or any runs. Uh, so he better turn that around really quick.
Real quick.
We've already hit into a triple play for spring,
Oh,
so that's funny. And Moises Ballesteros, who is from Venezuela, had visa problems and finally made it to camp, I guess, yesterday. So
okay.
um, this is setting him back about 2 weeks. Does this mean that they think he's going to be ready by the time the season opens, or is there a possibility we're going to put him in AAA and let him get a few more at bats to get more in the groove? It's probably going to depend on his performance throughout the rest of the spring. So that's it for Cub news.
Joaquin Andujar used to always show up late, and it was always visa, and he'd always show up like a week, 10 days late.
Yeah, he marched to his own drummer.
Oh, that's for sure.
Oh, JJ has come up with a very entertaining thing for us to do until the season starts. We were picking a team out of the division, and we're talking about players that we saw basically from 1970 last 50 years, basically. Our favorite players, infielders, outfielders, starting pitching, relief pitching, and manager for each one of the teams in our division. And we are starting with the Cincinnati Redlegs.
The
Yes, the
first
Red.
team of baseball history, number one in
Yes,
history. Yes.
yes, the Big Red Machine.
Oh my gosh, they just beat the tar out of our team, the Red Machine. Well, would you like to start with your first infielder, your favorite? And this is not the best because people talk about the Mount Rushmore, but sometimes people you miss a player that you really love because oh well, he can't stack up to that guy, but love that player. This way, we kind of broke it down into these 5 columns.
Okay, and I also have a runner-up for each
Oh,
position.
oh,
Uh,
okay, all
so
right.
just wanted to give a little props. My infielder, you've got your choice between Larkin, you have uh, bench because we're adding catchers in here, Rose, Um, all kinds of great Cincinnati players. Uh, the
Joey
guy,
Votto.
yeah, the guy that Yachty loved,
Oh,
Brandon,
Phillips.
Brandon Phillips. Yeah, yeah. Uh, but I didn't go any of those routes. I picked Tony Perez. And
Hey,
like I said earlier, I don't think he belonged in the Hall of Fame. He had the fortune of batting fourth in a stacked lineup for most of his career. The only time he wasn't in a stacked lineup was the few years he was in Montreal. He still managed to drive in 90 runs because they did have that young talent with the great outfield of Dawson, Valentine, and Cromartie. And I don't know, he may have had Reigns in there for a little bit too, but he was an RBI machine. He would drive in at least 90 RBIs for I don't know, like 30 straight years. Just an RBI machine. Um, but he was quiet. When he played on the Big Red Machine, he had Morgan at second base. He had Concepcion at shortstop. He had Rose at third, bench catching. Um, but I remember after they won the 1976 World Series, they traded him to Montreal because Dan Dreesen in the 76 World Series, they had him as their DH and he had a heck of a World Series. So they thought, I might as well get rid of Perez and put Dreesen out there. Big mistake.
yeah.
I know he was a friend of Rose, but Rose thought that that was the beginning of the end of the Big Red Machine at that time because Perez was in the middle of the lineup. He was a steady force. He was a good player. I just don't think he was Hall of Fame caliber. But when Perez left, they didn't win another World Series until the 1990 season. So even though they still had a lot of talent on that Big Red Machine, they kind of fell off the table when they got rid of Perez. And I always just liked him in the middle of that lineup. Wasn't flashy, wasn't talkative, but boy, they would be on base. He would find a way to get them in. And then my honorable mention, I have Joey Votto.
Oh, Joey Votto. What a player. When they didn't have a lot to hang their hats on, they had Joey Votto, though. And he was always fun, a good ambassador of the game, Canadian. And I'm with you on Joey Votto. I
My
went
my
up there. They had Joey Votto stuff everywhere. It was like the whole stadium was a promotion for Joey Votto up there.
my favorite Joey Votto moment is when he's going to catch a foul ball in Cincinnati and it's in the stands and he's going to catch it right at the stands and some guy does a Bartman and Votto looks at the guy who had a Reds jersey on and he grabbed his jersey and like pulled
Hey,
it out right by the logo like yeah, good job. So
that's a great story. That's what I love about this, Vince. We get to recognize these players that we love, and maybe a lot of folks out there don't know them, you know. And mine is, of course, as a kid, these players seem bigger in life. And Vince, as kids, we didn't get podcasts. There was no MLB channel. There was a Sunday night. There was a Monday night baseball, certain times of the year, and Saturday game of the week. And then the Cardinals had games on here and there, and of course, later cable came along and that kind of changed the game right there. But my guy is Johnny Bench. I love Johnny Bench. I think Johnny Bench, in my humble opinion, is the greatest catcher that ever lived. He changed the game. He hid the throwing arm behind the leg. And man, nobody ran on Johnny Bench. He was a stud, but he also was an ambassador to the game because I remember back then you didn't see a lot of the players like in their normal lives or whatever, but this ain't really normal. But Johnny would be on Hee Haw. He was a country singer. He'd be on Hee Haw out there in the field and singing Do Me Spare and all that kind of stuff. And he's like, oh, Johnny Cash, great guy. He had the baseball bunch with the San Diego Chicken. Just a great ambassador to the game and still is to this day. You mentioned him early in the show, calling Jeff Kent and welcoming him to the Hall of Fame. And what can you say about the guy? I think him and Yogi Berra probably. And I'm a Simmons and a Yachty fan too, but I still think Bench and Yogi Berra, and if you want to throw Pudge Rodriguez into that group too, that's the creme de la creme of catchers right there. But just MVP, a winner, a rookie of the year, multiple All-Star games, Gold Gloves, World Series MVP, and you could go on and on. But I I would watch the Reds because and I was a catcher as a kid, and I would watch him behind the plate, man. And from Oklahoma, was a big fan of Mickey Mantle. So anyway, Johnny Bench is my infielder.
My outfielder, there was a lot to choose from,
There was.
and this guy, Hall of Very good. If he would have had a longer productive thing, he'd be a Hall of Famer. Uh, I love George Foster. Uh, the the year he hit, I think 52, and nobody's hit over 50 for a long time.
Oh,
That was like, I think I was 77. I was like, holy cow, that's like the numbers I read about in books. And he won the MVP that year. And then the next year, he went out and hit 40, and people were like, "What's wrong with George Foster?" So
yeah.
uh, George had a bit of an ego. He, like to say, "I'm not trying to crush the ball; I'm just trying to bruise it." And he kind of liked himself. He made a comic book of himself as a superhero, and he was deeply religious, and he just felt like that there was a special unction in his life to be this great superhero baseball player. And then he went to the Mets, had a few productive seasons, kind of fell off the table, and finished with the White Sox. But I love George Foster. I love the sideburns he had going down there. And um, my greatest moments of watching the Reds, because the Reds were on all the time growing up, was watching George Foster. Didn't look like a big guy. He's kind of wiry, but man, he swung hard. And then my other guy,
Honorable.
honorable mention, I have Ken Griffey Jr., who would be number one, except his best productive years were in Seattle. But I always enjoyed watching the kid play.
I remember it was I think it was Mother's Day at the ballpark at Busch Stadium, and everybody was following Griffey around. I think he was going to go into the 600 home run club, and he hit his 600th home run in Busch Stadium, and the crowd went nuts. The Cardinal fans were all standing. He came out, did a curtain call. He went over and hugged his dad, who was sitting right over there by the dugout. It was just a magic moment. One of my favorite days at the ballpark, and that's kind of cool. The visiting player gets a curtain call and a standing ovation. That was pretty darn cool. Well, my favorite player I thought this guy could do anything. He was a human highlight film. And my favorite Reds outfielder in my lifetime is Eric Davis. Eric the Red. Great nickname. It helps you if you got a nickname. It kind of draws
Yeah,
the attention to you. I remember in that AstroTurf him sliding out there, making these catches, come up throwing. He could steal bases. He wasn't he was muscular, but he was lean. But he had a lot of power. And he hit 203 home runs, had played 9 years with the Reds, and stole 349 stolen bases. He could do it all, multi purpose guy. And 271 batting average. In my book, that's a productive guy. A guy could get on base at any time. Uh, won Silver Sluggers, won 3 Gold Gloves, and won the Clemente Award. So he was he was a very good person too, and gave back. But it kind of made me when players make their name at a city, it kind of breaks my heart when they leave. But I remember Sports Illustrated had a picture of him and Strawberry. They both went to the Dodgers, and they said, "Oh, this is a world championship right here." The Dodgers just bought the world championship. Well, it didn't work out that well that year, and that just kind of proves the point. You can't just go out and throw money. It doesn't hurt, but it doesn't necessarily mean you're going to win a championship either. But Eric Davis, when I think of him with those Cincinnati Reds, and man, he could do it all. As a guy who's not the fastest, I had a few things I could do good. It was just fun watching this great athlete go out there and play like a Ken Griffey Jr. Type of player. So my guy was Eric Davis.
all right, we'll do starting pitching. And
Ooh,
my this was the easiest one for me.
Okay.
My favorite Red watch pitch was Johnny Cueto. I know Cardinal fans do not like Johnny Cueto, but
My
man,
son loves Johnny Cueto.
oh the we were fortunate growing up. We could see Luis Tiant, and I didn't think I'd ever see anyone pitch like that again. And then here comes Johnny Cueto. Doesn't do the same windup two times in a row. He will do the hesitation. He just was, one pitch would be sidearm, another would be three quarters, maybe throw one directly overhead. He was just so hard to judge. He didn't throw tremendously hard, but he was so productive because you didn't know what he was going to throw and from what angle he was going to throw. And you didn't know how long the windup was going to be either. So I just loved watching him. I loved watching people who do quirky things when they pitch because, I subscribe to the old adage hitting is nothing more than timing and pitching is upsetting the timing.
That's true.
And if you can find a way to upset the timing, like Tiant Cueto did, by varying your delivery, by varying your arm slots, and you can do that consistently and throw strikes. It takes a special person that can do that because it's muscle memory. Pitching is like a lot of things; it's muscle memory, and when you have all these different ways of throwing the ball, there's not muscle memory. Well, this time I think I'll do a little bit of a 1 foot twist and throw sidearm, just fun to watch. And my honorable mention, he had great years with the Reds, but his best years with the Mets. One of my favorite pitchers of all time, George Thomas Seaver, who passed away not too long ago, but love Tom Seaver.
Love Tom Seaver. Well, my name, he's one of the all-time great. He's in the 30 best pitchers ever in Cincinnati history, which like you don't think of this guy necessarily right out of the gate. But mine is Bronson Arroyo. And first of all, it's hard for me to like a guy that's that good looking. He looked like a surfer guy. He had the blonde hair, the hat with the hair sticking down. Looked great. Played
Hey,
guitar. Yeah, played guitar and he sang. Hate him. But I tell you what, that guy pitched. And the thing I liked him, and two, I loved watching him play against the Cardinals because we couldn't beat him. And he had a weird, quirky, like you said, quirky delivery. He'd bring that leg up and almost kick it straight out. And then he'd throw it and not necessarily overwhelming. He had a good fastball, but he would just mix up his pitches. And I would say he's more of a pitcher, a lot of off speed stuff. And we just couldn't beat him. Back then we were so good against the power pitchers, but those junk, well, I hate to say junk pitchers, but the guys who actually pitched, that was the guys that give the Cardinals fits, upsetting our time, just like Vince said. So this guy here, he played 16 years. I mean, in he played 9 with the Reds. He was 108 and 100, but he had over 1,157 strikeouts, and he's tied 16th all time in Cincinnati history in wins. So that was a guy. If you had 2 or 3 games you could pick from on TV to watch, if Bronson was pitching, I'd watch Cincinnati. That was my
yeah,
favorite.
that leg kick, he and Marichal.
Yeah,
Uh,
that
you
thing.
don't see too many people with that leg kick anymore. That was
No.
great. Going into the bullpen, I love John Franco.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
Went out there and did his job for the Mets and for the Reds. Pitched forever. Um, Wonderful closer and just a low key guy. I would have said Aroldis Chapman, but Aroldis Chapman, even though he won a World Series with the Cubs, I will never forget the time he kind of brushed off Anthony Rizzo, and Rizzo came out and challenged the whole Reds dugout. So I thought, they're not too hot on that. But anyway, I love John Franco. I love the way he went about his business. But my honorable mention, because in the 76 World Series or 75 World Series, he pitched so good. And I think he pitched okay in the 76 World Series. Former Cardinal Raleigh Eastwick. Loved him.
Great name. Great name too. Yeah, I that's a guy I think of when I think what as far as relief pitching in the 70s. is Eastwick. Well, my favorite is, of course, the Cuban Missile, Rose Chapman. And Vince, I think one thing that helped them was all the statistics and things they put on the scoreboards at the ballpark or down at the bottom. And when he'd hit 100 miles an hour, you'd see fire. It'd say 101, and you see like fire going on. You're like, whoa, check that out. And it got to be such an event that, and he started with the Reds, and he stayed there a while and had a heck of a career with them, and then he's still in the league and still throwing 100 miles an hour. He's a freak. It's just not natural to be this good for this long. But Chapman, the 6 years with the Reds, I so enjoyed. I did not want to face him. I wanted to be ahead. That's a thing. You knew, oh my God, they got Chapman. He's resting. He's on 2 days rest. We got to get ahead of the Reds today. We don't want to see Chapman. And he threw some. I think there was a time where he threw more 100-mile-an-hour pitches than almost the rest of the league or the rest of the division or something. Phenomenal. Threw the fastest recorded. They've come in with like these mathematicians that figured out how fast Feller, or you had the motorcycle rider and the Cray paper, or you had Ryan. But Chapman's fastball was actually recorded at 100, as fast as 106 miles an hour. And you would see the crowd watch the pitch, and then they'd all look at the scoreboard to see how fast it went. So it was an event when he came into the ballpark. And I don't know if he keeps going. We might be seeing a Hall of Famer right here. I don't know why not. That guy has been dominant, and he just keeps picking. So he may be Vince. We might be doing this show 3 years from now, still talking about Chapman out there pitching somewhere. So Chapman's my guy in the bullpen.
Okay, and manager, I have to go with the former Cub manager Lou Piniella. Took him to the 1990 World Series, and Lou's one of my favorite managers. He's a hothead. He's a throwback. He's the like Earl Weaver, Billy Martin type. No one could throw a fit like Lou in his day. And when Pete Rose left the Reds, and Mark Schott hired Lou Piniella, he just basically said, I'm not Pete Rose, stay out of my way, and took him to the promised land. My honorable mention, of course, is Sparky Anderson, 2 World Series championships with the Reds.
Sweetheart. Yeah, what a sweetheart. And then he was with the Tigers too, took them to the World Series. Yeah, Vince, no surprise. My favorite, Lou Piniella. I love him after the turmoil of the Pete Rose thing. And, and Marge went through some stuff. He came over to Cincinnati. And, a lot of this team was put together through the Pete Rose years, but he finished it off. And Lou Piniella is just one of those guys I love, but I don't know. He's got a shelf life. He's like one of those managers that has like maybe a 4 or 5 year shelf life, and then it's over because he
Yeah,
don't take no crap from the reporters, from the players. And there's a moment, and I'm not for well, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do, but I remember he had to handle the nasty boys, those 3 guys in the bullpen, and they all had huge egos. I mean, they were in camouflage stuff, and there's a famous scene or video where Rob Dibble is just, he's out of hand. He had talent, but my God, he was always throwing the ball at runners and, just getting into it. And him and Dibble got into it, and Piniella didn't back down. He was an older man, but man, he let Dibble know, if you want to be treated like a man, I'll treat you like a man, smack, smack. So I do love Lou Piniella, and baseball's a better game having him there. And I thought of Dusty Baker, because everybody loves Dusty. Dusty's just he's like everybody's grandpa, He puts his arm around you and tells you stuff, next time do it this way or whatever. And then you got Sparky Anderson. Just love Sparky Anderson. But for my money, man, I love seeing Lou Piniella over on the other side of the dugout, throwing those bases and kicking the dirt on the umpires. So that's my manager, Vince.
I'll tell you, if we ever do players I loathe, Dibble is at the top of the list.
Well,
Milton Bradley, Rob Dibble.
oh,
Uh, just I just don't like people who don't respect people, and the egos are too big. And when you don't respect people, you hurt people. And yeah. So anyway,
yeah.
baseball cards.
Oh, yeah.
I've got a big packet, so I'm going to do this in thirds
Oh,
of
I've
the
seen those packets. I remember them. Yeah.
1991 tops. No
Ooh.
gum.
No gum?
The
Well,
diet package.
I don't know what year this is. It's Donruss, and there's a Stan Musial puzzle. So we usually get Star Joe Clemente, but this is Donruss. I'll find out when I open the pack, but there's a Stan Musial puzzle in there.
You know, one of these days, one of us is going to pop up here. I've got a 1946 Bowman pack that's never been opened.
Oh my gosh. We'll have to, that'll be a special episode right there. Vince, on your pack, you're going to do a third. So I'm going to say one Hall of Fame, 1991, one Hall of Fame.
I'll say two. I'm
All right.
feeling lucky or just different. I don't know. Pitcher for the Brewers, Mark Nedson.
Oh, yeah. I remember him.
I remember him. Uh, Giant shortstop, Mike Benjamin. I do not remember Mike Benjamin.
Remember the name. I was collecting cards pretty heavily back then. I remember the name.
Oh, former Red Sox, former Angel, former Athletic, former All-Star, Dave Henderson.
Oh, love Dave Henderson.
Yeah.
Robbed a lot of home runs over the wall. He'd go up there and get it.
Did you see him playing Seattle when you went to games in Seattle? I
I
forgot.
don't remember. I don't remember remembering his name. I found those box scores from the first game I went to, and I was looking at the players and everything, and it wasn't exactly how I remembered it, but I found the May 9th, 1976 box score to the Astro Cardinal game. That's pretty
Wow, that's
cool.
cool. We have outfielder for the Giants, Rick Parker. I don't know this guy, and I don't know why he's squatting like a catcher.
I thought he was a catcher. I don't know him either.
I don't know. Oh, former Red, former Padre, former Oriole, outfielder for the Padres, good player, Bip Roberts.
Oh yeah, fast.
Very fast, yep.
Looks like he's at Wrigley Field there. I see the ivy in the background.
Yes, you are correct. That is Ivy. Um, former pitcher for the Phillies, had his moments, Jason Grimsley.
Yes.
Oh, former All-Star for the Twins, first baseman, uh, local legend. Can I buy a vowel for Kent Herbeck?
Oh, Kent Herbeck. Yeah. Two World Series championships.
Yeah, uh, good player, good guy too. Shortstop for the Brewers, Edgar Diaz. Do not remember Edgar.
No, remember Edgar.
Oh, former Cub, former Royal, former Red Sox, the hard throwing Tom Flash Gordon,
Oh,
whose
great
son
nickname.
Gordon also had a very decent major
Oh
league.
yeah, won a batting title.
Oh, this guy, he was this is his Topps rookie card for the White Sox. He really made a name for himself by being Nolan Ryan's punching bag. Robin Ventura, who also
Used to,
played for a while the White
look,
Sox.
he's in those classic White Sox uniforms from 1918 or whatever, 1919.
Yeah. And my final one is pitcher for the Blue Jays, Frank Wills. I remember him by name
I don't remember that name.
only. Pitch for the Royals, Mariners, Indians, Blue Jays. He bounced around quite a bit.
All right. Well, my
That's
pack is from. Oh, you got more?
no, I'm
No,
just saying this sucks.
no Hall of Famers. Well, at least I get a Stan Musial puzzle piece. Yeah, and this is from, of course, my sponsor, Tom Maget, the wonderful Tom Maget, the patron saint of wrestling, has sponsored my card for this week. And oh, here's Stan. And I guess that's part of his name right there. Yeah, Musial right there, and the Cardinal emblem at the bottom. I may put together that set. All right, it's Party on, Garth Orge right there. Yeah, party
Dave's
on,
brother.
Wayne. Yeah, right there, classic. All right, a Minnesota Twin, George Frazier.
Oh yeah, pitch for the Cubs, pitch for the Cardinals, pitch for the Yankees.
A nice career. Yeah, there he is, looking healthy and happy. Oh yes, the sentimental gentleman himself, Bob Welch. The old Bob Welch right there. 27 wins with the A's that 1 year.
Yeah.
Yeah. My favorite memory of his is a specific memory. World Series pitching. He was like a rookie pitching to Reggie Jackson, who was with the Yankees. I think this was like 81 World Series. And he threw number fastballs. Reggie swung like every pitch was going to be a fastball and just fouled him off, kept fouling him off. And that was one of the greatest, all these years later, 81 to 2026, that was one of the greatest at bats I ever remember where Welch was like, here comes a fastball. And Reggie goes, throw that heat, Rook. And then, oh man, they just fought on and on. Oh, Jesse's girl, Jesse Barfield right
Oh,
there. Yeah.
the man with the arm.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm telling you what. All right, the one and only a World Series champion from the Minnesota Twins, Greg Gagne.
Very good.
There he
Good player.
is. Yeah, good player. All right, Seattle Mariner, and I don't know what position this guy played. I'm trying to look here. My eyes aren't good enough to read on the back, but it's John Moses, and I sort of remember the name. I don't know much
Yeah, I
about
remember
this.
John.
There he is. Oh, what a beginning of a career. Not a Hall of Famer, but I like him, and he lives in St. Louis right now. Darryl Strawberry.
Ah, the straw
Man,
man.
yeah, he made the Cardinals' life pretty rough in those 80s. Oh, a Cubby. We got a Cubby, right? A Cubby sighting. The one, the only Dave Martinez.
Dave.
Yeah, you remember Dave? A lot of great memories right there. Good
Yeah,
players.
managed the Nationals to a World Series title.
Same guy? I did not,
Yeah.
I didn't never put two and two together. That's the same Dave Martinez. I'll be darned. Oh, Cardinal. I don't know if this guy was a Cub, but here he is with Atlanta. Gerald Perry.
Oh yeah.
Man, right there, Gerald Perry. Good
What
player.
a smile.
Yeah, he does. He lights up the room, man.
Hey, man, that's a
Yeah,
happy guy.
that's a happy guy. All right, we got San Francisco Giant Mike Lacrosse. I remember him.
Oh yeah.
There he
Also former
is.
Red. Good player. Good
Good
pitcher.
player. All right, we got a few more. Oh, utility man, Pittsburgh. I love the jersey right here. John Candelosi.
Oh yeah. Fast
Yeah,
guy.
good player. Good player.
Played for the White Sox.
Oh, Hall
Yeah.
of Famer. Got a Hall of Famer, Vince. I know he's not one of your favorites, but I love him. He's cranky. He's mean. He throws the ball with everything he's got. He's out there grunting. Goose Gossage.
Ah, the
I
goose.
know. I can tell on your face you're not, but I love Goose Gossage. Sparky Lyle, Goose Gossage, right there. That would be a tag team for wrestling, right there.
The intellect and the grouch, yes.
Yes.
Or was it
Oh,
someone was when Sparkle Out pitched for the Rangers, um, someone said he was sitting between Jim Kern, who was off his rocker, and Sparkle Out. He said it was like sitting next to uh oh, what's his name? The comedian with the bald head.
Don
Uh,
Rickles.
Don Rick, yes. It's like sitting between Don Rickles and Abe Lincoln.
Pretty good. All right, three cards left, and the one, the only, a very good player. He could have been on our outfield, but Paul O'Neill.
Oh, Paul. I thought about Paul too.
Yes,
And
I did
what I
too.
thought about Paul was the time he kicked the ball into the infield.
Really, I did not remember that.
Oh yeah, it was a muff ball, and he's trying to pick it up, and it's just bouncing, and so he kicks it out of frustration, goes right to like the second baseman. It was
Soccer
he,
skills.
yeah, he couldn't get a handle on the ball, so finally just out of frustration kicked it. That's when he was with the Reds.
Man. And now we didn't include this guy in mustaches. I really don't know him. Rick Shue of Philadelphia. Look at that stash.
Oh
That's a
yeah,
classic. Man, it's like the Black Batman emblem right there. Look at
there
that.
you go.
And finally, the last card, a very good player, stuck around a while, outfielder for the Astros, Gerald Young.
No, yeah, I
I
remember
remember
Gerald.
him. Very good player.
Very
He's got a
good.
scowl on his face because he means business. And that's it, Vince. That's it for my cards this week.
Well, next week let's do the Pirates
You
or
got it. The Pirates.
the Pirates.
Oh yeah, I like. Well, after going to PNC Park, got a kind of special place in my heart. Yeah, of course, I love all the teams, Vince. I love the Cardinals. But you know what? When other these teams, when the Cubs have success, or some young kid proves somebody wrong, or I get excited. I absolutely love it. So there's not a team in our division that there's not something that I love about the team or a player or two. So,
Yeah, I think you and I have the ability to. I mean, we're diehard for our fans. We have the
yeah.
ability to step back and appreciate. I
These
mean,
guys have worked so
I don't
hard.
like the way the Dodgers are doing it, but I've got to give them their props because it's not just spending. They are developing players. They do baseball better than anyone else right now. And that's just the fact. For a while, the Cardinals were doing baseball better than anyone else. And even though that frustrated me, I admired it. Now it's the Dodgers who are doing baseball better than anyone else. So one time it was the Oakland A's with Moneyball. That was brand new. And it was like, wow.
Yeah.
So, it does help to have the ability to step back and say, okay, my team, I'm a big fan of, but I can step back and still appreciate
Oh yeah.
other things.
Last year's World Series is one of my top three World Series I ever saw. I thought
Oh,
that was just
yeah, very good
yeah,
World Series. Yeah,
heck yeah.
we were entertained,
We
and
were entertained.
Blue Jays almost did it.
Oh,
All right, well, everybody, we will see you next week. Thank you for joining us.
thank you.